Alright, what is up, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Chris, and today I'm back with another video here. So, a tough one today for the Flyers as they lose 4-1 to the Ottawa Senators. And an unfortunate way that this game kind of ended, because the Flyers score the first goal, Ottawa kind of gets one back, and the Flyers had a lot of momentum. They had a lot of good plays to the net. They generated a lot of chances, 38 shots in total for the game. You always can't just look at shot on goal totals, because those, as I've said before, those can be from anywhere on the ice. But special teams was the factor in this game, because you put Ottawa on the power play twice, and they capitalized twice. 2 goals from DeBrincat, and that was the answer in this one. The Flyers special teams didn't do anything. You let the Senators hang around, and they ended up scoring a couple goals. Ottawa on the day went 2 for 3 on the power play. Flyers went 0 for 3, so just not a good game special teams wise for the Flyers in this one. Lines were the same as the third period in Columbus. Farabee, Hayes, and Konechny, Tippett, Lawton, and Allison, Sedlak, Noah, Cates, and McEwen, Delorier, Frost, Legzinski. Defense, Provorov, D'Angelo, Sanheim, and Braun, Sealer, and Ristolainen. Carter Hart was in net. So again, the Flyers again had a pretty good first period. I mean, they had chances, they had looks at the net. They were able to generate things off the rush, and they get the first goal of the game off the rush. 1-0 from Hayes. It was a beautiful 3-on-1 rush. It was Konechny, drop back to Farabee, back down low. It was kind of a scramble play in front. It ended up going in. They give the goal to Hayes, and I don't think it would change or anything like that, but it was Hayes' goal. So 1-0 thing was a good start. I thought the Flyers did a real nice job of just getting out of the zone. Being aggressive on the breakouts and having good forward support to move. And when they were doing that, that they were able to create chances. And Hart had a really nice save and tight off of Pinto. And then Konechny actually gets into a scrap, his first fight of the year. Honestly, I think that's his first fight of his career. Ottawa had some pressure. Flyers didn't really have a shot in a while. D'Angelo ended up fighting off of the play where he got hit earlier in the game, went straight back to the room, came back out maybe a minute or two later, and then ended up coming back out and fighting. So 2 fights from 2 guys you don't really expect to fight, Konechny and D'Angelo. For Allison, he ends up getting hurt on a play with his hand. I don't know if he got stick checked or slashed, or maybe it was a potential high stick, but he basically dropped his gloves and just went right off. So not great. And then Sens would score, Shabbat scored. He just kind of got behind the D. It's weird how the goal developed. There was a little bit of puck watching, similar kind of thing. And again, that's a goal that's just kind of, gift wrapped and hand delivered. Like you can't do that. And it's not as much of, a turnover or anything like they were last game in Columbus. It was just, you gave them a free entry, and you gave the defenseman a free opening into the zone, and they ended up scoring. So the Flyers get a power play. It was a slash on Giroux. They did nothing with it. They just couldn't really do anything. Overall, it was a pretty good first period. It should have been a 1-0 Flyers lead, or maybe 2-0. Talbot was very good in this game. He kept Ottawa in it for a long period of time. Sanheim had a chance in tight, and it just rolled on in the start of the second period, and I was just like, it would have been so good for Sanheim to score his first of the year. He had the assist the other night on the Cates goal against St. Louis. Tippett ends up having a breakaway. He gets hooked, so the Flyers get a power play. Just did nothing with it. Second unit was better. First unit just couldn't even get set up. A couple minutes later, Tippett has a chance in tight. A nice pass by Konechny. Flyers get another power play. And this is where the frustration comes in, because Provorov draws a tripping penalty. You drew one from being aggressive on Tippett. And honestly, Tippett is a guy, to me, he's honestly becoming probably one of my favorite players on this team for this era of Flyers hockey. Just the way he plays, it's not. He just has like that. He wins a lot of puck battles, and today I noticed he's winning a lot of one-on-one battles. He got speed through the neutral zone. He's got a good shot. He's been a real pleasant surprise. So not really a surprise, I guess, because I would have thought he would have had at least a good year, and he's doing very similar things like last year. But he has a chance here. He draws a penalty, and the Flyers get one. They had a good zone entry from the second unit. I thought Frost was much better in that area, and Farabee as well. Just really nothing going on from the power play. Allison had a chance in tight. Flyers had a couple chances here. Hayes off the rush, then Sealer had a chance on the wraparound, so they can't score. Talbot's playing great. And then Allison. It is so unfortunate with Allison because I don't know. It's such a weird play. It looked like it was more of his foot. So it's just so unfortunate. It really is. I mean, you see him laying on the ice and you're thinking to yourself, oh, well, I hope this isn't the ACL again or anything like that. So we'll see what happens. There hasn't been any update yet. And this is where the penalties come into play. So, it felt like that maybe kind of took the Flyers not out of it a little bit. Maybe their mojo was a little off with that because then you had some lines kind of get mixed up. And same with the first because Allison came back to start the period. He got hurt again, came back, and then got hurt and was left the game. So the interference on Delorier, they had two nice clears by Provorov and Lawton, and then the Brinket would score off like a slam dunk kind of pass. Just at the side of that, nothing Hart could do. Again, that like weak side kind of pass. If you get the pass through, that's an easy goal, and the Brinket isn't really gonna, He's not going to miss those. I mean, that's just Alex DeBrincat. So then the Flyers take another penalty off a tripping call from Farabee. So it wasn't a bad period, just a really crappy ending. Two penalties, and the Farabee one. And I didn't really like the interference on Laurier. I thought it was kind of a weak call. It was an interference, yeah, but maybe it was more to get Ottawa in the game and at least get them the power play because that was their first power play of the game. I'm not sure, but again, I thought it was a little bit of a weak call. It is an interference, kind of like setting a pick in basketball, but still, that power play carries over minute 38. Then Flyers did a really good job on the kill. They had a good shift by the fourth line. Frost had a nice hit on the Brinket and then a setup for Delorier in tight. They had a couple looks, and then they call a slashing penalty on Law, and this is the one I didn't agree with at all. Just a weak call. Again, similar kind of thing, that bank pass from Giroux. We saw it a couple times last year, and banks it off the wall. The Brinket's right there, shoots it off Hart's back, and then it's 3-1, and that was pretty much it. The Flyers didn't really look like they didn't have much as the game was going on, and at least as the third was going on. They end up scoring an empty netter around a couple minutes left. They had chances. I mean, Talbot was really good in this game. Again, it's unfortunate because they've played since the St. Louis game. They've actually played they've followed up each game with a similar performance. And if you actually look at just in general, right, of how they've actually not even really just played, but the way that they're again, if you're just looking at the last handful of games here, I'm going to pull it up here. You're looking at these last few games, and again, it's not just what they've done or what they haven't done or anything. You get that win in Ottawa, and in the last game on November 5th, that was a pretty solid game. It was a 2-1 score. It was a tight score, but it was the Flyers had a majority of chances and looks in that game, dominated most of it. Blues, they end up dominating that game. The last game against Columbus, you really did own play for most of it. And you gift-wrapped them goals. And similar to this game, you gave them chances to score. And you let them hang in the game. And that's been the problem. So the last 4 games, there's been a theme. The Flyers have kind of owned most of it, but haven't really been able to, finish is kind of a way of what it is. Again, they finished on Tuesday against St. Louis, and they had a lot of good plays and just goal. They're just really, again, a dominant game, and they ended up winning that one. But these last 2 were definitely winnable. I mean, that's for sure, and it's aggravating. So the good news is you're tomorrow you have Dallas at home. They're coming in. They played last night. They lost to San Jose at home. They're 8-5-1. The Stars, kind of similar to the Flyers a little bit. Again, not in the sense of they need an identity, that whole thing, right? But just the start of the year, they're 8-5-1. Flyers are 7-7. They're 8-6 if you want to look at it that way. Flyers are 7-5-2. So again, it's two games where the Flyers could have won. And it doesn't really get much easier, coming up. You have Dallas tomorrow. If you can win that one, you have to go into Columbus and take advantage of that because then you have Boston, you have Calgary coming, you have Washington, Pittsburgh. And again, it's going to be different with the schedule and all that different stuff for the team this year. But, In general, I thought there were some good things today. Special teams wasn't really one of them. Again, I just like the effort. I mean, it's been a theme of playing better and, being able to dominate offensively, where they weren't really doing that the first, maybe 10, 11 games or so. So they've been doing that more consistently and much better as the season's going along here. So we'll see what happens tomorrow. Again, you have a chance to get it right back tomorrow. Dallas is a good team, but Flyers have had some good wins against good teams this year, so we'll see what happens. Let me know your guys' thoughts below. Remember to check out the podcast tomorrow morning. We're going to go probably 9 a.m. tomorrow. 9 a.m. We'll do that. And then, Flyers take on Dallas tomorrow. Let me know your guys' thoughts below. Again, check out the podcast tomorrow. Flyers Fan Club with the jersey raffle tickets, all that stuff. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll talk to you all again soon.